All right, today we're going to talk about a story you've probably known since you were a little kid, The Fox and the Grapes. But what's so cool is that hidden inside this super simple fable is a huge psychological truth about how our minds deal with disappointment. So yeah, let's get right into it.
So picture this. It's one of those really hot summer days, the kind where the air is thick and still. And we've got this hungry fox just wandering through a forest, his stomach definitely rumbling, looking for a meal. And this is where things get interesting, because our fox is about to stumble on what looks like the perfect solution to his problem. And then, bam, he stumbles across a vineyard. And we're not talking just any vineyard. These are like the most perfect, juicy purple grapes you've ever seen, hanging in these big, heavy bunches, just glistening in the sun. You can practically feel his mouth start to water, right? He's thinking, finally, that's exactly what I need. But you know how it is. Getting what you want isn't always so easy. Our fox's hunger is about to run smack into a wall, a vertical wall in this case. Driven by that hunger, he doesn't even hesitate. He takes a few steps back, gets a running start, and just launches himself toward those grapes, stretching out every muscle, paws reaching. You can just feel all that effort, all that hope, packed into that one big leap. And nope, doesn't make it. His paws barely even brush against them. But this fox, he doesn't give up. He tries again, and then again. Each time he's just as determined, but each time he falls short. It's gotta be frustrating. Okay, so now imagine the scene after a while. The sun is just beating down. He's tried, I don't know, dozens of times. He's totally out of breath, he's tired, he's dusty. But it's more than just being physically exhausted. His pride is taking a serious hit. Those amazing grapes are right there, so close he can smell them, but they might as well be on the moon. And this right here is the turning point of the whole story. This is where the fox has to deal with his failure, but maybe not in the way you'd think. So he just kind of turns away, dusts himself off, and you can almost hear him muttering to himself, trying to believe it. You know what? Those grapes are probably sour anyway. I wouldn't want to eat nasty, unripe grapes like that. And he just walks off, trying to look like someone who made a smart choice, not someone who just failed over and over again. And that right there, that's the whole key to this story. It's so much more than just a flimsy excuse. It's actually a pretty fascinating peek into how our brains are wired. So what is really going on here? This brings us to the main event, what we now call the psychology of sour grapes. It's this classic way our brains cope with things, you know? When we're hit with that painful feeling of not getting something we really, really want, our ego kind of goes into self-defense mode. We protect ourselves by deciding that the thing we wanted wasn't actually that great to begin with. So let's break this down. It's actually super simple. The reality, the fox just couldn't jump high enough. It's a physical limitation, right? But the story he tells himself, oh no, the new belief is that the grapes are gross and sour. He completely changes the narrative, shifting the fault from his own inability to a flaw in the grapes themselves. Yeah, there's a name for this. Psychologists call it rationalization. And it's pretty clever, actually. Instead of just taking the hit and feeling that sting of failure, the fox rationalizes it. He turns a real-world loss into a kind of mental victory. In his mind, he didn't fail. He smartly avoided something bad. It's an amazing little trick we play on ourselves to protect our self-esteem. So why are we still talking about this fable from centuries ago? Well, because that fox, he's in all of us, at least a little bit. And let's be real, we do this all the time. It's so human. You don't get a job and you immediately think, oh, I didn't want that job anyway. The commute would have been a nightmare. Or, you know what? I'm glad they rejected our offer on that house. It probably had a leaky roof. We find flaws to make ourselves feel better about the rejection. Sound familiar? What we're really doing is trying to reduce something called cognitive dissonance. That's the super uncomfortable feeling you get when you have two conflicting thoughts, like, I really want that thing and I absolutely cannot have that thing. To make the discomfort go away, it's just easier to change one of those thoughts to, actually, I never wanted that thing after all. Okay, so it's a common thing our brains do. A little mental trick. So what? Why is it actually important to be aware of this? And here's why this really matters. I mean, sure, it protects our feelings in the moment, which is nice, but it can totally stop us from growing in the long run. Think about it. If you always convince yourself the grapes are sour, you never think, hey, maybe I should learn how to build a taller ladder, right? Seeing this tendency in ourselves lets us face failure honestly,
learn from it, and maybe try a different approach next time, instead of just pretending the goal wasn't worth it. So that's really the big takeaway here. The challenge for all of us is to kind of look in the mirror. When you think about things you wanted but didn't get, are you being honest with yourself about why, or are you just telling yourself a story that makes you feel better? It's a tough question, but it's worth asking. What are your sour grapes?